This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. Dan is on assignment. In the battle over blood in the O.J. Simpson double murder case, the judge sides with the prosecution. The defense wanted a share of the blood evidence so it could conduct its own DNA testing. Today, the judge said no. But as correspondent Bill Whitaker reports, this is not necessarily a setback for Simpson.
After weeks of courtroom argument and acrimony, Judge Lance Ito issued his much-anticipated decision on sharing crime scene blood evidence. In a written court order, Ito said the request by the defense for evidence in possession of the prosecution is without legal support and is denied. Simpson's defense attorneys had accused prosecutors of maliciously withholding blood samples and urged the judge to make them hand some over for defense analysis. Preliminary prosecution tests showed a genetic match with Simpson's blood. But Judge Ito has ruled the prosecution must be allowed to investigate and prosecute crime and ordered it to proceed with DNA testing. On the surface, today's ruling looks bad for the defense, but court observers say maybe not.
Frankly, the defense may see a silver lining in this ruling. The defense is probably now going to argue, don't believe the prosecution's DNA test because we did not have an opportunity to do our own independent testing.
And defense attorneys say they gained a lot just from holding the DNA hearing.
We found out that, for instance, the blood was given to one of the detectives who walked around with it for several hours in his pocket. There's a question as to when he turned it over. I mean, how's that a way to handle blood? That a virtual novice was out picking up the swatches?
This afternoon, defense attorneys and prosecutors were back in court for another judge to hear another defense motion, this one accusing prosecutors of abusing the power of the grand jury, of using an investigation of Simpson friend Al Cowlings only as a cover to gather more evidence on Simpson. If true, it's illegal. Before the hearing got going, Judge Stephen Zuliger closed the courtroom and kicked out the press. Now that hearing is still going on behind closed doors. The judge is expected to make his decision on whether there has been abuse of the grand jury later today. Connie?
Bill Whitaker in Los Angeles, thank you. President Clinton packed his bags today for a vacation on Martha's Vineyard after winning his battle over the crime bill. The Senate last night gave it final congressional approval, but as the president savored the win, it became clear he will not get what he wants on his top legislative priority, health insurance reform. Rita Braver at the White House has our report.
Flaunting his victory, President Clinton staged a conference call to mayors eager for crime bill money.
As the days and weeks ahead unfold, the American people will learn more and more about what's in this bill, and I think they will like it even better than they do now.
After weeks of maneuvering, what's finally in the $30 billion bill? $10.8 billion over 6 years for new state and local police. Whether that amounts to 100,000 new police will depend on salary levels and whether states can come up with 25% for matching funds. There's some $6 billion for domestic violence services, after-school activities, midnight basketball, programs some call prevention and others call pork. There's also almost $10 billion for prison construction. New criminal provisions, including 3 strikes and you're out, life in prison for 3-time violent felons, and 60 federal offenses punishable by death. And there's the controversial ban on 19 assault weapons. Many lawmakers are skeptical of whether the bill will really help solve America's crime problem, but law enforcement officials are desperate for any resources.
I am concerned about what kind of timetable and how rapidly this can be done because we have a crisis in our society.
But even as the president and Democratic leaders were reveling in their crime bill win, the Senate Majority Leader was forced to admit that a major health care overhaul is unlikely this year.
It clearly will not be a bill as comprehensive as I would prefer, but I think that there's much that can be done that will represent progress.
The president insisted he has not given up, but the crime bill underscores the calendar crunch he faces. That was a simple program compared to health care reform, and it still took months to complete. Rita Braver, CBS News at the White House.
Jesse Jackson today blasted the crime bill and said he may run for president in 1996. Jackson accused the president of turning his back on urban America. And Jackson called the crime bill, quote, a combination of Kool-Aid and cyanide, more jails, more sentences, and 60 more ways to electrocute. Jesse Jackson is not the only American angry about what's going on in Washington, and the president is not the only target. As members of Congress head home for the summer recess, correspondent Linda Douglas reports they are sure to get an earful from the voters.
At the community fair in North Royalton, Ohio, the political turmoil in Washington these past weeks seemed far away. Many here said the angry debate in Congress over crime and health care meant little to the folks back home.
Do you think they're working for you?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think they're working for themselves.
As in much of the country, here in Northeast Ohio, frustration and contempt for Congress run deep. Eileen Page complains legislation gets bogged down by political turf wars and egos.
They butt heads too much. No one seems to want to compromise. Everything's my way or no way.
Over at Rocco's hair salon, John Sens agrees.
There's so much partisanship in it. I don't think anybody really cares about what's good or what's bad. They're all worried about being reelected.
I just get more and more upset and disgusted and turned off on things.
In East Lake, where people work hard to make ends meet, some charge members of Congress are elitists who are out of touch.
You know, they've got their nice little homes and they're set financially for life. They're not like us.
I think Washington seems to be insulated away from the rest of the country.
How are you? Nice to see you. You doing okay?
At the Fish Fry in Ashtabula, the local congressman running for re-election must work hard to convince his constituents that he's representing their interests in Washington. First-term Democrat Eric Fingerhut says after watching Congress close up, he can see why voters are cynical.
I feel the same way that my constituents feel, frustrated and angry.
Many here charge Congress is in the grip of special interests. One woman put her disgust bluntly.
It pisses me off. It used to be that when people were angry at Congress, they still said good things about their own elected representative. But now voters are beginning to blame anyone who's in office, and incumbents may be voted out in big numbers this year. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Ashtabula, Ohio.
For the kind of community program the new federal crime bill could help, look at what one group of concerned parents did in South Philadelphia. This was graduation day at a school the parents created following the shooting death of a child. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has our report.
GH is there. We'll let him come next.
Typically, summer school helps a child earn extra credits or catch up academically. In this South Philadelphia neighborhood, though, summer school became one place children could play safely.
The day that Michelle got shot, I was playing with her.
It was just by chance that Janice Smalls turned a corner and lived, and Michelle Kuttner didn't. The 7-year-old was caught in the crossfire of two teenagers' argument last June as she walked home on the last day of school.
A child shouldn't have to be killed just for them to start a summer program.
But that's what it took. Outraged residents banded together. The school district found $350,000 to open 2 buildings. Some 200 children showed up. Parents and volunteers did the rest.
I thought it was very important for the parents to take hold of the children and show them that we do care and that we will protect them. And that's why I'm here.
The children attending summer school may feel safer, but their neighborhood isn't. In the 2 months since Michelle Kuttner was shot to death, police say 11 children aged 1 to 17 have been killed here in Philadelphia.
Is Rasul here today?
Even from the safety of their classrooms, the children know the danger still exists.
I can be outside, nobody be around, and they just walk out up and start shooting and shoot me.
That's why on this last day of summer school, Michelle's mother joined the children and their parents. They're hoping their grief and fear can pry enough money out of the politicians to sustain their safe haven after school and on the weekends once the normal school year begins. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Philadelphia.
In Georgia, a public school teacher who was fired for defying the state's moment of silence law lost his latest court battle today. A federal judge refused to order the school to reinstate Brian Bound. The teacher is challenging the law, which requires Georgia public schools to hold a brief period of quiet reflection. And Bound claims at the start of each day, Bound claims the law is an unconstitutional attempt to return prayer to the classroom. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, coping in Cuba. American sanctions kick in, but will Castro feel the squeeze? And Eye on America. Tonight, Power Ranger mania and the fallout for parents from a top-rated TV show for kids.
This is a square inch. A wheat thin is the most real food deliciousness you can get in a square inch. The most genuine toastiness. The most crunchiness, the most munchiness. Wheat thins, the most taste you can get in a square inch.
With Fixodent, I can stay active and as confident as I need to, all day.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fixodent holds stronger and longer.
That's why I Fixodent and forget it.
What's a quarter get you for breakfast these days?
Oh, wow.
For a quarter?
A grape.
I wouldn't have breakfast. Hey, that's America's favorite cereal. And you know it's less than a quarter? Really?
25 cents for breakfast ain't bad.
Okay, here's the kicker. Kellogg's Corn Flakes and Milk is less than 25 cents a serving.
25 cents? For the milk and the cereal?
So that's the breakfast I could buy for a quarter. Kellogg's Corn Flakes, just part of the value in having breakfast with Kellogg's. 4 bowls for $1?
That's definitely a bargain.
President Clinton met with his top policy advisors on Cuba today and came out sticking to his hard line against Fidel Castro. He's rejecting pressure to open talks with Cuba on anything but immigration issues. He also went ahead with an order barring Cuban Americans from sending money to relatives in Cuba. Bad weather at sea is holding down the exodus from Cuba's shores, but as CBS News correspondent Giselle Fernandez reports from Havana, it hasn't ended.
As the sun rose this morning in Havana, Cubans, deterred by yesterday's storm, returned to the beaches to ready their rafts for sea. 7 young men hope to leave tonight. They say they have no other choice. The economic situation here is very bad. There is no food, no jobs. We're trying to find a new life. The fall of the Soviet Union, once Cuba's main trade partner, and a tightened U.S. embargo has strangled the island's economy. Severe shortages are evident everywhere. Long lines for scarce food and gasoline are common, and pharmacies don't have enough medicine for the people. The Castro government, in need of hard currency, has legalized the dollar and some small businesses. But for many, those limited reforms are not enough. This is Romarillo, one of Havana's poorest neighborhoods. The government classifies it as a dangerous area, not because it's anti-Castro, but because the people here are among the most hungry and desperate. This woman says she could buy only 1 chicken leg for her children. She can't remember the last time she ate meat herself. Even families like the Garcias, who've relied on money from abroad, can't afford the basics, and now worry how they'll get by now that it's no longer coming in. I blame the Cuban government, she says. Ever since I was born, they blamed the United States, the embargo. It has nothing to do with the suffering of the people. This man, who supports the revolution but is fed up with the hardship, says, I'm not going to blame everything on the Cuban government. I'm going to blame the American government, who is forcing us to throw our lives into the sea. While Cubans debate who is to blame for the crisis, most agree the political stalemate is killing them. And unless there's change, many say they'll continue to look to the sea as their only way out. Giselle Fernandez, CBS News, Havana.
By mid-afternoon today, the Coast Guard had picked up 387 Cubans, compared to more than 1,000 yesterday. Several rafts were found washed up on Florida beaches with no sign of survivors. Rescuers say as many as 1 in 4 rafters may not make it. Correspondent Diana Gonzalez reports on some who did, but just barely.
3 days at sea, 2 families and a pregnant dog crowded into an old boat and a couple of inner tubes. Waves were swamping their boat and making 2 of the refugees violently ill. Today, seas were 4 to 9 feet in the Florida Straits. A tropical wave is now making the rafters' journey even more perilous. No one knows how many have died trying to make the difficult crossing from Cuba to Florida. The Coast Guard has come across empty rafts, even a piece of packing styrofoam. They are amazed by the drastic measures some of the refugees have taken to survive.
The problem is when they run out of water, they'll drink their own urine, and then you can start to hallucinate.
This woman, who was 7.5 months pregnant, almost lost the baby. Doctors in Key West were able to stop her labor. These 20 people were packed onto a flimsy boat made of empty barrels and pieces of wood. The Coast Guard found them just as their boat was starting to sink. The 2 families who had been at sea 3 days were also rescued, but they couldn't bring their dog. The dog made it to the U.S. aboard a charter boat, but her owners are being taken to the detention camp in Guantanamo, Cuba. Diana Gonzalez, CBS News, Key West.
U.S. immigration officials say any Cubans who make it to U.S. soil will be taken to a detention center in South Texas. 51 Cubans were transferred there today from an overcrowded detention center in Florida. The facility in Texas can hold 1,000 detainees and can be expanded with the use of tents. Stay with us for more of the CBS Evening News, including a mystery in Oklahoma. Were 4 hospital patients killed by their nurse?
We could go to the pyramids while we're here.
Maybe shopping in one of those colonial towns.
We could take a trip to the fishing village.
After a hard day of rest, it's good to have the evening to relax.
It's supposed to be a beach day tomorrow.
Call today, 1-800-44-MEXICO.
You might be confused by all the different types of pain relievers and all their claims, but your doctor isn't. They call one type NSAIDs, like aspirin, ibuprofen, and the latest pain reliever with the main ingredient naproxen sodium. The other type, the pain reliever in Tylenol, is different from all these. An important difference between Tylenol and an NSAID brand has to do with your stomach. To varying degrees, every one of these, including the latest one with naproxen sodium, can sometimes cause the side effect of stomach irritation. Doctors know Tylenol is definitely gentler for your stomach. The choice is clear. A brand that can irritate your stomach, or Tylenol that won't. The choice is yours. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
I can't get anything that works better than Mycotin for my athlete's foot. But this great targeted spray gets more Mycotin into the places I need it most. Only Mycotin's got the targeted spray for a cure that gets in.
These high-tech weapons were developed during the Cold War, so what do we do with them now? Your local police have some ideas. Eye on America, Monday on the CBS Evening News. Just think how irate you would be if the only product on the market that could keep your child alive was contaminated with the HIV virus. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
Prosecutors and doctors in Oklahoma are investigating the deaths of 4 hospital patients. A nurse who tried to take her own life says she was responsible for the deaths, but investigators aren't convinced. Correspondent Vicki Mabry in Chickasha, Oklahoma has our report.
31-year-old Daryl Ritchie was to be buried yesterday, but the service was postponed when authorities learned he may not have died from a rare brain disease. He may have been killed, along with 83-year-old Goldie Crum and 2 other patients.
You don't know what to think, really. But I thought she just, passed away on natural causes.
The 4 deaths became a mystery on Wednesday when nurse Alita Beach attempted suicide at the hospital where she works by disabling her pacemaker, stabbing herself, and overdosing on pills. She told the doctor who found her she wanted to die because she had killed 4 patients over the weekend. So far, what investigators are going on is a suicide note in which Beach lists a possible cause of death for each patient and her confession to the doctor who found her. But the district attorney's office says confessions alone are not enough to convict her. The medical examiner's office is considering exhuming the bodies of the 3 elderly women who were buried earlier this week and have performed a preliminary autopsy on Ritchie.
Much as we suspected, based upon the information which we have, we're not able to confirm or deny an exact cause of death.
The search for evidence led police to Beach's rural home today. Beach herself remains hospitalized. No charges have been filed as police try to determine if they're dealing with an hallucinating suicidal caregiver or a cold-blooded killer. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Doctors in Britain announced today they are testing an American-made heart pump as a possible alternative to heart transplants. Surgeons connected a battery-operated pump to the heart of a 62-year-old man. The device has been used to keep patients alive while they wait for donor hearts. The British doctors want to see if it can be used for long-term therapy. The government says the U.S. economy was growing in the second quarter of the year at an annual rate of 3.8%. That is a lower growth rate than many economists had predicted. But it is less likely now that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates again to slow the economy down. That was seen as good news on Wall Street. The Dow Industrial soared more than 51 points.
She's not someone who shares her pain, but with working and trying to be the world's best mom, sometimes it gets to be too much. When the pain lasts longer than the Tylenol, when you've tried the Advil and aspirin upset your stomach, I'll say it's enough for the hero bit. We're calling the doctor. We're going to see what he recommends.
Introducing Aleve, a non-prescription strength of Anaprox, a fast-acting form of the medicine in naproxen, the #1 selling brand in its class for 10 years. Only Aleve has 8 to 12-hour dosing. It lasts longer than extra-strength Tylenol. Advil isn't stronger, yet Aleve is gentler to your stomach lining than aspirin. New Aleve.
We're not going to let anything happen to her.
New Aleve. All day strong, all day long.
I have a fresh solution for denture odor. Minty Double Action Polident. It controls denture odor and cleans tough stains. Minty Double Action Polident. And in between soaks, wipe your dentures clean and minty fresh with Polident wipes.
Cleanse yourself with 100% soap-free and fragrance-free Alpha Hydrox. Refresh yourself with a natural Alpha Hydrox solution that can reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Moisturize yourself with products to nurture and protect your beautiful new skin. Save yourself with amazingly effective Alpha Hydrox products under $10 each. Now you know the naked truth about skincare. The cleansers, treatments, and moisturizers of Alpha Hydrox.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers have a system for repairs. The focal point is the service advisor. He's the primary customer contact in diagnosing problems and allocating all the resources to get the job done in the quickest, most economical way.
We'll get this car on the road.
He can help save you time, he can help save you money, and you can only find him at a Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer. Quality care, where the quality continues.
Yes, there will be a World Series. The winners on the PGA Tour have earned an invitation to the NEC World Series of Golf this weekend on CBS.
And finally tonight, how American children are spending their time and their parents' money. First, there were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, remember them? Then Barney the Dinosaur. And now, correspondent Frank Courier shows you the latest craze in tonight's Eye on America.
They're the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And they slam bang like Godzilla into living rooms across America.
Ready, set, get 'em!
3.5 million kids a week have made it the #1 rated children's show. And a national obsession.
Power Rangers completely sold out.
Now News 98 traffic, something new, a Power Ranger gridlock on the northbound Hollywood freeway.
In Los Angeles recently, 35,000 moms and toddlers snarled traffic for 8 miles en route to a Power Ranger live studio appearance.
Power Rangers!
These newest superheroes who have bumped Barney the Dinosaur from TV's throne are 6 karate-chopping teens in spandex who fight evil.
Kids, they can all look at any individual in the group and identify with us.
The live-action series, which beats out local newscasts in some markets, is a primitive, low-budget sci-fi fantasy that industry bosses predicted would bomb.
They said, "You are crazy. This is terrible. It will never work. It's just an abomination."
Episodes rely on violence and cheesy special effects lifted from B-grade Japanese monster movies.
There's people out there spending a lot of money on slick children's shows, when this proves to me maybe they don't have to do that.
It's not just the TV show. Mighty Morphin Mania has invaded the marketplace, a merchandising phenomenon of plastic Power Ranger action figures that sell out faster than toy stores can stock them.
You can't find them anywhere. I mean, they sell out as soon as you get them in.
When there's rumor of a delivery, parents swarm the aisle.
They don't even have the prices on it, and we're all here just kind of grabbing. Why don't we get all of them?
Many ignore the limit of 2 to a customer.
You got the black and the red, now the green and pink.
There are thousands on waiting lists.
We've been looking and looking and looking, and I called to Germany and asked for these Power Rangers.
2 shoppers sneak to the stockroom to search for a hard-to-find Pink Ranger doll.
You gotta know what you're doing, and the only way you know what you're doing is if you come every day.
Happy birthday! From toy stores to birthday parties, the marketing of Ranger Rage is estimated at $250 million this year. Go! And as the fad sweeps thousands of youngsters into martial arts training classes,
We're not going to play the game.
one grade school imposed a ban on Ranger play acting at recess, with critics saying the show promotes aggression.
I think American children are kind of little anthropologists looking at the culture, and what they're learning is pretty disturbing.
Frankly, we have gotten almost no letters of complaint from parents.
With thousands of Ranger hopefuls this summer lined up to audition for new fall season characters,
Would you like me to do a handstand?
All right, Rangers, let's do it!
trend watchers predict this morphin addiction may last another year, as living rooms full of little Power Rangers join ranks to save the world. In Chicago, Frank Courier for Eye on America.
And that's our news. Dana King will be here tomorrow and Russ Mitchell on Sunday. I'm Connie Chung. I'll see you again on Monday. Thank you for joining us, and for all of us at CBS News, good night and have a great weekend.
So wild, yet elegant. A bold new vision. The all-new Riviera by Buick.
During my last physical, I happened to mention that the Tylenol I took for my tough headaches wasn't always getting rid of all the pain. My doctor recommended Advil instead. He told me that for tough headaches, 2 Advil worked better than 2 extra-strength Tylenol tablets. Better than extra-strength Tylenol caplets. Better than Tylenol gel caps. Now for my tough headaches, I take what my doctor recommends by name. Advil. It just works better. Advil. Advanced medicine for pain.
Day 4 of the show. The magician is performing for the kids. I thought the dancers stole the show last night. I put on quite a show in aerobics this morning. I can see why Royal Caribbean has won so many awards. I can see it in John, our cabin steward, and Ted, our wine steward. Watching people with this much pride is quite a show in itself.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
By the end of the week, 7 more lives will be saved. By the end of the day, 16 people who couldn't walk will. By the end of the hour, these special filters will help make 25,000 more gallons of water ready for drinking. And by the end of this message, 1 more premature baby will be protected. All of which is made possible with the help of a material we call plastic.
For a whole new concept in room and comfort, reserve your seating now. The all-new Riviera by Buick.
Experience CBS News. The CBS Evening News isn't just a place where the world comes together.
It's a place where all of our worlds come together.
Somalia, Bosnia,
Healthcare, the economy,
stories such as flood or the hurricane.
and sometimes even a moment
It lets us all sit back and smile.
This is CBS.